EFF leader Julius Malema is expected to lead the party's Women's Day event in Matatiele in the Eastern Cape. The town was rocked last year when Nosicelo Mtebeni, who was from Matatiele, was murdered by her boyfriend in East London. She was a student at Fort Hare University at the time. Just recently, a woman was allegedly beaten to death by two men inside her house in a village near the town of Matatiele. Our reporter Fundiswa Mhlekude joins us now for a live report. Fundiswa, thank you so much for your time. What can we expect from the EFF celebrations today?
Well, thank you very much, Mkolise. A very good morning to the viewers as well. We are in Matatiele, Maluti to be exact, here in the Eastern Cape, where the EFF is celebrating this year's National Women's Day. Remember, Matatiele has been rocked by many incidents of gender-based violence, and as well as the Eastern Cape at large, because you will remember that here in Matatiele there is a trend called Huretla, where many people have been found, some in their homes and others in the fields with their heads chopped off. And in the in Mthatha recently, we had two young girls who were members of Inqiyo who were also raped and killed. In rural areas, mostly older women are accused of practicing witchcraft, and they are also killed. And there is also what is called ukutwala, where young girls are married off to older men, and this is getting really out of hand in the Eastern Cape. I'm sure that that is why the EFF came in this province today to mark National Women's Day. But with me is Treasurer General of the EFF, Ms. Omphile Maotwe, who is going to be telling us the logistics of today. Thank you very much, Ms. Omphile. Why the Eastern Cape?
Good morning to you and good morning to your viewers at home. So you'll remember that at the beginning of every year, we've got what you call the plenum. That sets out the calendar for the year. We try to cover all the provinces, meaning that each province must at least have one national program. But it looks like it was the right decision for us to choose Eastern Cape to come and commemorate the 9th August 1956. Because when you look here, this is where Nosicelo was brutally killed. This is where Mbatle was brutally killed. I'm told that 3 weeks after Mbatle was buried, there was 3 women in her home village that were also brutally killed. This is where Lusiki police station is, which is the rape capital, according to the police. Now, it doesn't come as a surprise, and the challenges of Eastern Cape are not unique to Eastern Cape. These are challenges that we are encountering across the country, because we don't have a leader, we don't have a president in this country, we don't have the minister of police in this country, we don't have a police commissioner in this country, we don't have the minister of women. I mean, where is her voice when women are being killed and raped in the manner that they are? Women and youth in particular. You know that shootings of taverns, they're mainly for youth. Actually started here in the Eastern Cape, where the youth were killed. Now, where is the voice of the minister of women? We need Abu Mama Albertina Sisulu right now. We need Abu Mama Helen Josephs right now. We need Abu Mama Sophia De Brain. We need Abu Mama Lillian Goyi to speak the challenges of women. But also when you look at what they were marching for in 1956, really nothing has changed, because they were marching against passes that were blocking the movement between urban areas. Now we are here on the border of Lesotho. You know, when I was coming here, looking at the logistics of how to get here, the Google told me that there's 2 shortest routes I can take. It's either I fly to Mthatha or I fly to Maseru, which then is an indication that Maseru is actually closer to Matatiele than Durban itself. Now, why do we have a border between South Africa and Lesotho that blocks the people of Matatiele? When I was walking around doing door-to-door yesterday, the people here speak Sotho. They ride on their horses, they wear blankets. Some, of course, are speaking Xhosa, but it's an indication that Africans, we are one. Let us fight for free and united Africa. So our message the president will be delivering today really is to look at the GBVF cases that are in the country, but also, as I'm saying, it doesn't come as a surprise, because if you don't have leadership, the thugs have occupied the streets of South Africa. They are doing as they please, because they know that nothing is going to happen to them. The police minister is headless. He just goes where the noise is. If today SABC comes and say to him, there's a illegal mining in Matatiele, he's gonna run here, leaving Randfontein where he is currently. So he's leaderless, doesn't have a plan. The police commissioner doesn't have a plan. Really, this country does not have leadership, and that's why we're calling for Ramaphosa to step down, him and his government, his cabinet, all of them. They must step down, and then we can bring the government that will care for the people. We are standing here, me and you. We are not sure what's going to happen to us today when we get back home, because anything can happen. Elderly women are being accused of witchcraft, are being tortured, are being raped, are being killed. What has been done by this government? This government of the day is not a government that speaks the Matatiele principle of the government of the people, for the people, by the people. Where are they representing the people?
Also, the IC will be addressing these people, and what do you think he will touch on exactly?
He will definitely touch on the GBVF that is raping our country. He's going to touch about the thugs that have occupied the streets of this country. He's also going to touch about why this country is in a mess. It's because it's leaderless. Why should we continue calling Cyril Ramaphosa the president of this country after violating so many laws, including being accused of torturing a woman who was a domestic worker, kidnapping, bribing? So why must we still look at that person as our leader? Clearly he's a leader of thugs. That's why the thugs have taken over the streets of this country. So we are not thugs. We don't want a thuggery president. We don't want a president that goes around beating up women and accusing them of stealing money, the money that he himself can't even account for, how they got. I mean, we live in poverty in South Africa. The levels of poverty, you can just see them here. But we've got a president that's sitting and sleeping on cash in his mattresses and his couches. It is wrong. It must be condemned. And we must all stand up and say enough is enough. The ANC really has not done anything since the dawn of democracy, and therefore that's why we are reminded that 1956 there was a march led by women who said enough is enough to Straydom. Now we are saying today enough is enough to President Ramaphosa. He must step down.
And what is your take on the recent calls for chemical castration of suspects who are found to be guilty of sexual abuse?
We support that. We support anything that is going to address the challenges of women. We support the castration. We support the chemical castration. It can't be that there's business as usual when we're living in these conditions like this. But of course, we've got government that is not going to do anything. We've got government that is clueless on how to run its affairs. So we are just hoping that even when we pass this law, if it comes to light, this law, people will not be falsely accused and people will not be falsely sequestrated. Our call really is for the end to crime, especially against women and youth. Enough is enough. We're standing up here, we're saying it's 9 August 2022, enough is enough.
And lastly, Treasurer General, there are calls or there are assurances that the people who are committing crime are foreign nationals, mostly of them. And as we have seen in Kruger's job, they were saying that it's foreign nationals who committed that crime. And you, as the EFF, are saying that foreign nationals, it's not always foreign nationals who commit those crimes.
So we must not allow ourselves to be divided. Let's describe crime as crime and let crime be punished. And let crime see no nationality. Why must we say rape? This rape was done by an African. This rape was done by a European. We're not doing that. So we must not allow people to cause hate amongst us as Africans. I just told you now that these colonial borders came with apartheid. Everybody in South Africa, if you go around South Africa, they'll tell you that they don't want apartheid. Here they want apartheid colonial borders. So you can't say no, apartheid was not good when it comes to this, but it's good when it comes to that. It means you are glorifying apartheid. You are still subjecting yourself to apartheid. Colonial borders were made by apartheid handlers because they wanted to divide us so that they can conquer us. United as Africa will not be divided, will not be conquered. We will stand united with our mineral resources, with our God-given land. The whole continent will prosper and will defeat all these other countries of the West.
Thank you very much. That is Treasurer General of the EFF, Ms. Omphile Maotwe, saying that a crime is a crime whether it is committed by a person of the country or someone from a foreign land. But she is saying that they want a government that will take into consideration the plight of women, especially especially those women in rural areas. Like I mentioned before, that rural women, especially the elderly, are usually often killed for allegedly practicing witchcraft.
Fundiswa, you know, as you're having this conversation there, we were just in Durban now with our reporters, Jade Paulsa as well as Vusi. Gender-based violence clearly is on the agenda. Have you perhaps maybe gotten a voice from the ground to hear what the women that are in attendance there are expecting to hear? Just a quick one before we let you go.
Yes, Mxolisi, they are saying that they want a government that will protect them and put more focus on their needs as women, especially in rural areas.
Fundiswa Mhlekude out there for us, and of course we'll be touching base with her, but later on in the bulletin when we go back to her as we monitor all those commemorations of Women's Day in the country.